Think probably a lot of people are you're either not on social media, you're in my age, or you're just using social media as, pictures here and there of your kids, of your family, of your interests, right? But if
Today I'm
Okay. Last week, we had talked a little bit about different ways that we can generate leads for free. And one of the ways that we kind of into was lead generation through social media. And I would say that no matter what you're doing in real estate, instance, is going direct to seller, flipping. She was on here, looking through her for her first deal through bird dogging. I don't know where Yolanda. Oh, yeah, she's on here. Looking for her first deal through bird dogging, right? Basically, what I wanted to do, hey Yolanda, good to see you. Um,
shadow there.
oh, no worries. Anyways, no matter what you're doing, you always want to have your social media going. You start your social media. And so early on in my social media experience, I remember, think probably a lot of people are you're either not on social media, you're in my age, or you're just using social media as, pictures here and there of your kids, of your family, of your interests, right? But if you are in real estate or running any kind of business of any type, you need to have a social media and you need to start talking about what you're doing. And it is an amazing and free way to start generating leads and in multiple ways. I can't even tell you how many times. First of all, it's your resume. When people go and they look me up and they see my social media, they immediately know that I'm in real estate. Second of all, going to start raising money for future projects that you don't even know that you have. Because everybody in this group, I don't care who you are or where you're at, we all aspire to be real estate investors, which means that you are going to be owners. And as owners, you're going to need money for projects. So that's you're raising money for future deals, right? So generating leads that way. And then not only that, but you're bringing people into your orbit that are like you and people that are going to be sending you deals. Now, do I get a million seller leads in my inbox directly from sellers? No, I don't. But do I get wholesalers in there? Do I get, like Yolanda or Andy that are looking for deals and they want to send me leads? Yes. People find me. I actually had somebody, a lender, that lenders find me through social media all the time and they email me and they say, "Hey, we want to jump in and be a lender for you." So they seek me out. They want to lend to me. All kinds of opportunities that happen through social media, but a lot of times people don't really know where to start. And so that one of the things that I did back in, I want to say, what was it, Jamie? It probably was around 2023, or was it 2022? I met
2022.
Jamie at a meetup. Okay. We talked about this last week too, going to meetups, and meeting your people. So I met Jamie at a meetup, and Jamie was just getting into social media. I mean, Jamie was just getting into real estate at the time. But him and his wife had been doing branding for social media, and he had just quit his full-time job and was working with his wife doing branding, which they still have. They're in the adventure market and they make money on their branding. That's basically what she does. And so I hired them to do my social media for real estate and have grown so much since then. It's given me so many opportunities, and I definitely couldn't have done it without them. So definitely think about hiring someone in the future. But right now, when you're just getting started out, you need tips and tricks on how to be consistent and how to get started. And I get a lot of questions about that. So I thought it'd be great to bring Jamie on and do what he does best, talk about how social media, and he gets tons of leads from his social media. He's doing transactional funding, EMD lending, double closing, or stack method deals. And I would probably say 95% of his leads came from social media. Even if you think about the referrals that he gets now, they came from somebody who saw him on social media. So essentially, it all goes back to social media. Um, he's building $1 million business that way. So it's pretty cool. Jamie, I'll hand it over to you.
Cool, yeah, for the intro. I love that, the fact that there is a free version of social media, right? April chose to hire that out and find somebody who specializes in that. Again, like she said, combined with her thought process and her goals and her personal goals as well, right? She sought us out and we worked together, and that's how we were able to grow her social media so well. And the fact that there's a free version where you don't have to hire out right away, you can start today. And like she said, it just takes a few tips and tricks, and it takes a few weeks or a few days of consistency to really just get the knack down and start really applying everything on a daily basis. Because what happens is when you show up consistently for other people, they start depending on you for that content you're posting, right? Like April posted about her last flip. I need to go back and find out what she's taking on now because I want to be one of her lenders. Or I need to go back and see what she's doing because I heard she does workshops, right? Nobody The problem is that nobody gets gratification from posting on social media, right? Your likes might be low because you never did it. Your views on Facebook, right? Nobody read my post, nobody this or that because you haven't learned those tactics just yet. But the truth is, people are reading those posts. The algorithms are such that people are getting fed that all the time. And if you don't put out content, you never have the opportunity to feed that audience about who you are, what you do, and how other people can participate in your business, even if you're just getting started, or if you're growing, or if you've already reached a certain goal and want to switch goals now, right? Social media is going to be consistent throughout all of those different phases in your business. So getting started as soon as possible is where you need to be, right? So, a few tips that I want to put out, at least to this audience here. Everybody's kind of getting their start, right? And I would assume most people here are not very familiar with posting on social media. Would that be pretty accurate? Can you give me a thumbs up if you, yeah, very familiar. Not quite there. Cool. So, a few things. April said, I started like everyone else, right? Even on the real estate side, I had no idea what to post. I did do social media, so I did understand how the algorithms worked, but that was always for somebody else. Like she said, we've worked with thousands of brands. We understand how branding works. I've converted that to personal branding for individuals as well as brand marketing for that you see and and everything from baby toys to alcohol to like ad products. Like do everything with everyone, and that's worldwide as well. We've worked with worldwide people, some that you might know. We've worked with Monster Energy. We've worked with Columbia Sportswear. So we've done a lot of those things, but applying that to yourself and your own business takes a little bit of courage to just put yourself out there and talk about what you're doing, right? So when I started learning real estate, I knew that it wasn't going to benefit me to talk about all of my goals, right? That's my personal goals, but like on a front, like I'm pretending to be a flipper. I've already done all these things because you haven't done it yet, right? So how do you post about something that you're just learning? How do you get credibility when you're just getting started, right? And that's what I want to share today. So when you're first getting started, talking about your journey, right? The algorithms are all set to highlight authenticity. Okay, so when you're just getting started, the best thing you could possibly do is just talk about what you're doing now and what you eventually want to accomplish. And just like in real estate, the only way you're going to see results is if you consistently show up, you consistently do the work, right? And that is what's really going to yield the results. It's the same with social media. The more consistently you show up, the more consistently people can depend on you, and the more consistently people share about who you are and what you're doing. So, the reason for all of that, right, is like, well, I could care less what people think about me getting started in my journey. So, why even post, right? The thing is, you're creating a runway, what I like to call a runway, right? People to land on. So every post is like a brick on that runway. The more posts you make, the easier it is for people to land on that runway and learn all about you, right? Like I said, people search her, they find the social media that instantly gives her credibility. Why? Because she's been sharing for so long. If you scroll all the way back and you say, well, I want to find out if April's like the real deal, right? Like what have you even done, right? And if we did not have her talk about how she got started, how she's generating leads, how she did her first flip, what capital partners, how they can participate on her flips, right? If we didn't have her tell people how she's doing these things, no one would know, right? They would land, no runway. I don't know anything about you. I don't want to do anything with your business. They would take right back off, go to the next person. So by you not sharing who you are, what you do, and how people can participate in that, you're doing a disservice to growing your business because you need that history, right? Even if it's a horrible post, if you're unfamiliar, right? People want to be able to go back. That's what you're creating now. You're creating a history for people to go back on. So when you reach that successful point, before you start changing your goals and heading for the next big goal, they want to go back and see, okay, where this person really come from? Can I trust them? How much experience do they have? If you don't share your experiences, nobody can trust you. So when you're first getting started, you want to just start posting. There's like a 90-day challenge. Well, it's like a 100-day challenge, really. 90 days is like fun straight. So it's a nice little goal to do. Posting every day for the next 90 days no matter what you post on, no matter what platform, right? So for this audience specifically, it does not matter. You don't have a start anywhere. Start on the platform you're most comfortable with. That could be LinkedIn for some people, that could be Facebook for others. I happen to start on Instagram because that's what I was best at. YouTube, people might have a knack for teaching and explaining things, and maybe YouTube is where you want to be. So start on any platform you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable right now on Facebook, that's how you're looking for deals. Make posts on Facebook. Now, when you're talking about all of these things and you're running out of ideas, right? 90 days is kind of daunting, but it's actually very easy. Every day, I post in my Instagram stories what I call a morning minute. I spend 1 minute every morning making an Instagram story about what I did the day before. Like it's business, sometimes it's family stuff, sometimes it's the hardships of growing a business. It could be anything. I just call it the morning minute and I post every day, right? And that is my accountability to myself. I created that so I could be accountable to myself and post every day. Now, if you're going on Facebook, you can do the same thing with stories, right? Or you can just make a post on your own profile. You don't have to worry about finding a group, a wholesale group, what's going to be the most effective, what can I say to get people to like it, what can I say to get people to DM me? None of that. Just post every single day, right? Today, I committed to posting on social media every day. And my goal today is to submit 5 offers. That's all I want to do today, right? That is a post. Now, 10 days from now, if you said, I hit my 5 offers yesterday, today I had a hard time finding the leads I wanted to, and I only was able to submit 1 offer. The next day, I submitted my 5 again. I hit my 5 day goal and my five goal for the day and I'm moving on to tomorrow. Here's some of the things that I learned, right? You see how this progresses. The more action you take, the more stories you have, the more you have to post. So people get worried about, I'm going to post and they don't take action. The second you take action, you have a story, you have content, you can make a post, right? So without complicating it, that's where I would start, right? Ask yourself, what am I doing on a daily basis? How do I search for leads? What happens when I find those leads, right? And then what am I doing to engage those leads? That right there is content. And I know everybody here is doing those things. And that's why I picked that out, right? You might not have locked up a deal. You might not have you might not have made millions of dollars in real estate. Maybe you don't have your first flip yet. Maybe you're only wholesaling, but you want to flip, right? The journey from point A to point B is the story, and that's the content. So why does that all matter? Like you post this, like what do I do with that? I can't, do it every 90 days. Cool. What's I expect? So what you can expect after taking action, creating those stories, creating that content is going to be 90 days of proof that you were taking that action. Now you come to the end of that 90 days, and I'll tell you right now, if you share your Instagram link or your Facebook link or whatever, right, your social link with anybody at a meetup, and they go back and they saw you were posting for 90 days straight, I promise you, you'll have the next lead, right? That person either becomes a lead or they become a referral or they become a JV partner. They'll be one of those things. Why? Because for the last 90 days, you've only been talking about what you do, not what you want to do, not what you hope to do, maybe tomorrow, this and that. You're talking about all of the things you've been doing. So if you're as consistent as you say you are, right? And you showing up every day and you're making progress every day. Remember, progress doesn't have to look like I made 5 offers today. I got one submitted, now we're going to close. That's not the case, right? You could do 5 offers for 5 days straight. You'll have stuff to talk about, I promise you, because every offer will be different. You could talk about how you structure that offer. You could talk about why you decided to make that offer, right? So you can see how these ideas just kind of out of me. It's because I look at a situation and I see who do I need to tell about what I'm doing so that I can get the help that I need when I need it, right? Now, if I'm in transactional lending, right, that's like my niche. So if you go to my feed, there's nothing else there. That's all you're going to see. I'm talking about EMD. I'm talking about double closes. I'm talking about stack deals. I talk about how I did them. I talk about how I found them. I talk about how I closed them and fund them. It's like everything, X, Y, Z's of transactional funding. So you can do the same thing, like what April said, with any niche, right? The problem is nobody wants to start because exactly what I'm talking about, they don't know what to say, right? So when you go into Facebook, and I don't want to botch anybody up with this because I don't want people to get stuck trying to come up with things to add to a certain framework. I typically say there's a good framework called hook, retain, reward. Every time on any platform, you always want to have a hook, right? I'm dedicated. Today, I'm starting my dedication to posting every single day for the next 90 days. That's a hook, right? I submitted 5 offers today. I got one call. This is amazing. Here's how I did it. That's a hook, right? I got cussed off the phone today because I called a seller who's been submitting or who's been getting 100 offers in the last 4 hours, right? So anything can be a story, but those are all hooks, okay? When you retain people, that part of the framework is letting them know, here's what I want to tell you about, right? Here's how it happened. I first thought I was going to lose the call and lose the seller, but when I listened further, I found out his problem. I provided X solution, and we set up another call for tomorrow. That is retain, right? Now, reward, here's what you can do to help me find more leads like this, right? Send me a DM if you have any sellers that you're having a difficult time calling. I would love to call them for you. Reward, because you're rewarding the person for showing up, reading through your post. Okay, what do I do with this post? Oh, I can DM her. I have some deals like that. Now, is that going to fall on everybody's ears? Absolutely not. Anybody who reads that, they're going to decide wherever that fits in their priority box, right? But if somebody was trying to get a hold of Wanye and he happened to be reading those posts and it was a flipper that posted it, he would say, "Hey, I had that same situation." So what I'm saying is, if you don't make the post, people can't identify with that post. They can't decide if they want to participate in that post. And that is the problem that people have in getting started because they're not framing it as, well, if I get started, what's the point? What's the value? The value is you're looking for the one fish that needs that worm, right? You're not looking to feed the entire pond. That one fish could be worth $50,000 assignment fee. That one fish can be worth your next $60,000 flip, right? But if you don't post, you don't get access to that. So that's what I want to put on the weight as far as making a post, 90 days, being consistent. It's all the same as real estate, right? So the other thing with social media is if you think about it as like a meetup, right? And I like the meetup because it's a little bit smaller. It's not like state. Not everybody's going to speak on a stage. Not everybody wants to speak on a stage, but everybody wants to go to a real estate meetup when you're getting started in real estate because you want to find your people, right? It's normal. It's nice and small. So I think of social media like a meetup. What would I say to that new person who's just coming? Would I just sit around and, introduce myself once, but then that's it? Absolutely not. If you take the time to go to a meetup, you're going to participate with people, right? Hey, here's what I'm doing. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'm trying, but this is my goal, right? How can I help you? Hey, you're a lender. This is how you could help me. Hey, you're a wholesaler. This is what I'm looking for, right? You're telling people everything. So if you put that on social media, now think about the power of social media, right? If you stand on a stage and you say one thing that can get multiplied 100 times, when you press post, right? That goes to the algorithm. That can go out to hundreds of thousands of people, not just 10 people at your meetup, right? So by not posting, you're letting go of a platform that can potentially reach 100,000 people. Remember, I said you're not trying to feed the whole pond. You're trying to find those few big fish, right? That haven't eaten in a while, because that's all you need. Now imagine the exponential growth that can come from that, right? If you feed one big fish, the other one finds out about it, they start flocking in. Why? Because you share about it. Cool, I closed one deal, right? Now that you have credibility because you did this journey, you proved that journey, you completed the journey by getting that one deal closed, you just rinse and repeat, but now with the credibility of closing that first deal, right? Now, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be all of the same stuff and then another one deal. If you close one deal and you've proven out everything that you said you were doing for the last 90 days, you then take that deal, you rinse and repeat, but now with credibility, it won't be one deal at the end. It'll be five, right? Because that's the exponential growth of it. When people hear you have credibility, you are the person who was consistent in the beginning. You are the person who was posting the content about it, talking about it, right? You are the person who could perform and prove that they did. Two people will come, three people will come, four people will come, right? And that's what you want. You want exponential growth. But the problem is you can't get there unless you make that first post. Get uncomfortable, make the first post, get some feedback, make the second, make the third, make the fourth, all the way up to 90. Then you showcase, even if it's a 90 posts that are just horrible, it doesn't matter. What matters is you told people you're going to post for 90 days. You actually post for 90 days. Then you share the fact that you had the ability to post for 90 days. What type of person doesn't want to work with somebody who's as consistent as that? Most people can't even follow a diet for 90 days, right? They can't go to the gym for 90 days straight, right? We all quit. Why? Because it gets hard, it gets weird. You have those rainy days, you have those rough days or tired nights, right? So we just don't do it. But that's why the person who ends up on the end of the 90 days with 90 posts, what do you have to show for it? And you can share all of that. Not only did I do the 90 posts, I committed and I accomplished it. Now, my goal with the 90 posts is now to get better. Here's what I learned out of posting for 90 days straight. Here's what I learned. I got 100 leads to call now, right? I got DM'd and somebody was asking about that deal that I talked about, right? I got a lender to fund a deal for somebody that I knew because we had the same problem. I got a wholesaler to send me a flip deal because he heard I posted about my funding box or my buy box, right? So these are all the things that you can introduce to people, but you can't get started unless you actually start talking about it. So kind of just open it up for questions. I know that's a lot. Hook, retain, reward, 90 days consistently, credibility, rinse and repeat, showcasing that, right? So there's a lot of information there. What questions do you guys have for me?
I have a question. So, like you
Sure.
said, you're really good on the Instagram. So, one thing that I'm trying to do is build up my Instagram stories. And
Okay.
so, I had a lot of likes and activity based on like in pace and grants. So, there's a lot in the activity part that I actually wanted to put over to the story part so that people can actually see that I'm actively learning and engaged and involved, and even some meetups in the real estate. Is there a way to transfer that so that they do see the background of how long that I've been trying to do it?
So you've been posting in stories? Is that what you're saying?
My activity like in Instagram, I have people that I follow. So Instagram stories come over to me. And so when I looked at my activity, there's a lot for, activities that I went to, different people that I watch, April with her story. So is there a way to put that in the story part so that people can see that I've actually been active as
Um,
opposed to it just being in my activity and my likes for things that I've liked in the real estate?
oh, got it. So, somebody is posting, you're talking about a scenario. Are you talking about
Like
like if
she just April, just when she does an Instagram story and she has a post, I'll go
okay,
in, I'll see her post, and I'll actually like it. And
okay.
so it shows up in my activity. It doesn't show up in my story that I follow that I follow April, and that I'm into, her
Sure.
and seeing what her process is, her journey on her different flips, myself into her classroom. So people don't see that. It's just in my activity log.
It sounds like talking about if she tags Yolanda in a story.
I do get tagged because it
Okay.
comes up in my activity. So I get her
Okay.
tags. So
Yep.
is there a way that anyone else could see the journey that I've taken?
Yep.
Because it's just in my activity. And it's just when I go, I see all the activity that I have from all the tags that I've gotten previously.
Yep. At the very top, show if somebody tags you in their story, it'll say mentions, and then
Okay.
it'll have the story that they tagged you in.
Okay.
So if you click on that mention, you'll be given the option to add to your story.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see like tag me. I I tagged April, then she tagged me when she posted it. But every time I pause it, it disappears. Maybe you can see this.
I see it.
The very bottom where my pinky is pointing,
I see your pinky, but it
that
kind of,
right there at the very bottom link says add to story.
okay. You know which one, where are you talking
Okay.
about?
Yep. You click that, it'll open it up on your story.
Okay. Wonderful.
So you can post that stuff every day. Anytime somebody's tagging you, even if you're at a meetup and somebody takes a picture, follow them on Instagram, tell them to tag you if you're trying to get your Instagram going, right? Same
Awesome.
for I like the idea here too, so I'll just kind of the whole platform thing that I was talking about, right? You post once and it goes out to 100,000 people, or it goes out to even 1,000 people who are your followers if you're just getting started. 500 people if that's all you have at the current moment, right? Um, you can multiply that even more by doing what Yolanda's talking about. If April tags her in something, they see Yolanda there. Then Yolanda shares that to her story. They see it there. You could actually turn that story into a reel and they see it as a post, right? So these are all ways of multiplying the same content in many different ways. If you make a Facebook post about something wanted a wholesaler to know, let's say you put your buy box in a Facebook post. Here's my buy box. My goal is to buy 3 properties by the end of the year. Let's just say, right? That is your hook. You put your buy box down, and that's for everyone to see. Then you take the link to that Facebook post, those little 3 dots on the top right of it. You take that link, you share it with every wholesaler. I just made a post about my buy box. I want you guys to know. So this is what I'm trying to accomplish in the next 30 days, right? You can take that link and give it to every wholesaler you know. That's another way of multiplying it so people see, right? So think of like that are what people don't think of that stuff. That's what prevents you from that's what makes you burn out, really. It's because you're making posts every day, right? I'm working so hard every day I'm posting something. I recycle my content all the time. I'll use content that I've posted way back that's still relevant today. Got a lot of action even back then. I repost it, it gets the same amount of action because people want to know that stuff. So then that gives me what? It gives me a feedback loop to say, people obviously like what I was sharing in that post. I can recycle the thought even if I don't redo the post because maybe, I don't know, maybe I looked older in that post or something, look younger in that post, I don't know. But now I want to repost the same idea. You can reconcept the same idea because who doesn't want to just reshare their funding box or their lending box again or their buy box, right? That changes all the time. But the concept is I need to re-communicate my buy box. I'm not getting leads anymore. It kind of petered out. I finished closing my deals. I need to reach out to more people. And then you redo your buy box, right? In a different way. Hey, last year's goal was to just close my first deal, my first flip deal by the end of the year. I did it. Now I'm after three for this year. Here's my new buy box, right? And you're just sharing. Then you take that post again, you send it out to all those wholesalers you did the first time, right? So there's no lack of in spreading and leveraging what social media has to offer. When you get to social media, you're not doing one to one like your cold calls anymore. You're not doing 1 to 10 or 15 at your meetup. You are doing 1 to hundreds of thousands, right? So, what's your question?
Okay. Then that kind of leads into another question that I have, because on
Sure,
my post, what I've been doing is I've been showing a journey of a medical thing, fitness, trying to get better. And
sure.
so I haven't really, I guess, about a lot of the real estate. So that's something that I wanted to do. And I tell people, going on this journey, but I have a lot that I'm working on, a lot of things that I'm doing. So stay tuned. So is that a way to kind of what I'm doing as far as the real estate is concerned? Just to kind of that in there because I'm keeping people up on what I'm doing, exercise, walking, and all that. So usually in every kind of everyone I tell them, but I'm working on a lot of things. I have other things I'm working on. Stay tuned. And I kind of that hook in there that I'm moving, that I say every time. So is that a good way to kind of into this is what I'm working on, this is what I'm doing so that people in that area can kind of fun and like you said, bring you business in that realm?
Absolutely. I love that whole concept, everything about it. The
Thank
best way to stay consistent is to take your normal lifestyle and just apply it to what you want to share. To me, fitness is one of the easiest things to incorporate into real estate because it has to be consistent. It has to be daily. So with your fitness, right, and diet journey and all of that stuff, like you can talk about those similarities in consistency. And that's how I typically take people from here to here is like, I'm finding that this diet is a lot harder than I thought. Here are the challenges that I have. It's a lot like my real estate business. I'm trying to find my first deal, and I've been on a call with this many throughout the week, and I'm just not closing. But here's the lessons that I'm learning, right? Very easy to just transition that. You could be like, I tell people anything that you're doing on a daily basis. I've had you like ask me, like, teaching has nothing to do with real estate. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Teaching is all you're doing with content. You're teaching people, right? So here are the challenges. Like, I am a teacher and I educate my students, and I'm finding so many similarities when I'm educating wholesalers on what it is that I'm looking to buy, when I'm educating on what I can lend on, when I'm educating contractors on what I need done, right? It all translates. So you basically give me any profession that you're in, any daily activity, and I can combine that into my real estate journey. And those are the things you want to think about. So instead of just kind of spaghetti to the wall and seeing what's working, think about what resources you have at your fingertips now. What are you doing on a daily basis that you could translate into content for real estate? What similarities are there? What successes have you seen in both realms? Right? What challenges have you seen in both realms? And you can always share about those things consistently. And again, like I said, every 3 months, find what worked and what didn't, and recycle that content. Most times I find that I could recycle probably like 90% of my content and I don't have to think anymore. Okay, I'll just do that one again in a different way, right? I'm talking about leads. I'm talking about finding deals, underwriting deals, all of that stuff on a consistent basis. I'll just do it again, and I'll do it with this specific deal. Now, instead of just doing all the underwriting on one deal, I'm just going to hit little niche points of underwriting that are important. Listen, when you're underwriting, you need your purchase price, you need your ARV, you need your loan costs, and that's it, right? Keep it simple. So to be honest, maybe that's not it, but it's a hook, right? The whole point is here are the highlights. You get people engaged because here's the highlights. Here's my specific challenges. This is what I'm trying to do. You could set your reward at the end of the post, right? We talked about hook, retain, reward. You can set your reward to be a question, a cry for help, even. People love to talk about what they know, right? So you can put out a challenge. I like to do this reverse thing where I don't pretend to know everything at all, that's for sure. So when I make a post, if I'm talking about something, I can always end it with, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that if you're doing something similar to me. I put that out there so I can learn something from somebody. Maybe they're acquiring a different way and I haven't learned it yet, right? So things like that is a very easy way to recycle content and keep posting and keep that consistency.
Awesome. That was great. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? I know some people are taking down some nuggets. It always helps. Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah, Jamesy's here. Jamesy, just a couple more minutes and I'll be in here, okay?
It is my turn. What's
Hi,
up, buddy?
everybody. Hi, everybody.
Cute.
Yeah. This is what you have when you have an open office.
Yes. Wonderful though.
That's awesome.
Those are some great questions, Yolanda. I'm 90 day of posting. I can tell you right now. I sound kind of easy, but it's actually really, really hard. Get on there and to post something every single day. So it's something simple that you can do, but it's actually pretty hard. Um, this is something that can catapult your business before you know it. It just really gets you places that you never thought that you could go. And I'm give an example like Morby. A lot of people in this group are in that mentorship that, he launched his mentorship. He was YouTubing, and YouTube was like his place that he was getting all of his leads. And I converted, I want to say, in one day, 100 people into his mentorship from his YouTube. Real estate, when people want to lend to me, I'll go to their YouTube, to their Instagram, to, just if there's only a couple of posts and they only have a couple of followers, I'm like, oh, these people are a scam. I think that it is probably the best, easiest slash hardest way to get going in real estate if you're doing nothing else. Super consistent in this. Hopefully you're super consistent in, leads in all the ways that we talk about here every single week, but you also need to be doing this on top of it for sure.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't start with, have to get your mind off of perfection, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be off of perfection. A lot of times people are reaching out to wholesalers, they have that first call or sellers, right? They have that first call. And you can tell the people who are going to last because they'll pick up the phone, they make that next call, and then they make the next call and the next call, right? Regardless of the answers that they get, content is going to be very much the same. Like you need to post at one time, right? People burn out after their first week posting each day. But what you got when you look back, what you got was a bunch of feedback, right? People aren't liking my post, people aren't this, people aren't that, whatever. You got a bunch of feedback, right? But after 90 days of doing that, right? Even 30 days of doing that, you're going to learn better. How could I post better? Maybe they don't like it because I'm not being clear. Maybe I said it this way and I should have said it this way. You'll learn something. There's no way you can come out of even 30 days, even 14 days without learning anything, right? So the point of the 90-day thing is really just to draw all of these conclusions to give yourself feedback, right? Social media is pretty brutal. Like it expects you to be the best right off the bat. That's the smoke screen that you're getting. But that's not true, right? All those people came from somewhere, and you have to be that somewhere and just start, right? So the ideas and concepts I gave you guys today, just hopefully you guys jotted some of that down to say, you need to make that post today. Here's some of the ideas. I'm going to stick with this one, and you make the post. The problem will come when you look at that list and you decide and you plan and you contemplate and then you don't do anything, right? Because here's what is going to happen. And I've done this, I've restarted multiple times in my journey, right? And what I'll tell you is going to happen every single time is when you post and then you burn out, right? You drop off. If you post and you post, each of those posts will teach you a lesson. And if you choose to look at the lesson, it'll move you forward. Because what did I post? Oh man, it probably didn't get much views or like I was a hot mess. I was talking this way and that way. Maybe you had a big old light in back of you and it's just shining in the camera. That doesn't make any sense. But guess what? You post it. I'm going to say the same thing 5 days from now. I'm going to mark it down as my 5 day mark, and I'm just going to do it better, right? I'm going to be more clear. I'm going to communicate my buy box better in that Facebook post that I'm going to write, right? Maybe some of you guys are writers. Don't forget, you could be any platform, not just Instagram, right? So on Facebook, if you're a writer, you're not used to being in front of your camera, cool. Write the post. Maybe it doesn't get any likes. Why did it not get likes? Why did it not get shares? Because maybe I wasn't adding value in that post. Maybe that was just for me, which is cool too. But what are we trying to accomplish? I want to add value to people. I want to get people to participate. I want to communicate who I am, what I do, and how people can participate in that, right?
Yes.
Uh, those are the things you want to continue to do.
Love it.
Yeah,
I was going to say too that it's the algorithm, right? And if you're not adding value inside of a group, then what'll happen is the algorithm will push you down. And the way that you can continue to get success is by continuing to post over and over and over again, no matter if your Facebook posts get likes or whatever. I'm same thing for me, even, I'm posting in some of my groups. Like some weeks I'll get 75 comments. And the next week I post and I get nothing. And I just kind of have to figure out and read through and say, okay, was it about this post that got the 75 likes versus this post that got nothing? Figure out like it is the people that you're drawn to, like your audience wants and what they're looking for, and you kind of adjust. And that just, it takes time. It takes a lot of practice. And something that I've been going at this with Jamie. I was doing my social media before Jamie, I had started it, but him and his wife, they run mine. We've been going at it for a long time, and it's still something that I'm learning and growing.
that's right. There's always things that can be adjusted. You might also grow as a person, right? So you got to give yourself some grace on that front. Maybe you find out wholesaling's not for you and flipping is more your flavor, right? Maybe it's not flipping, maybe it's lending. But every time you switch, right, you can apply the same basics and just pick up where you left off. That's the best part about social media because it's social to you, right? It's who you are. You're communicating who you are and what you do. So if you change directions, the best part about that I like about personal branding and being consistent, the things that will never change is their consistency, right? Your knack for solving problems or adding value. Those things are inside of you and they're personal to you. The way you do those things are personal to you. So as long as you're sharing on that front, you could switch directions with whatever you want to do and you just apply the same basics, apply yourself into that and get it done. So
Yeah, but what I wouldn't do is if you're doing real estate and you're selling Shakely, which is vitamins, right? And you're also, a nonprofit organization that you're trying to raise money for year round. I wouldn't be doing those three things at the same time. People are going to get confused. It's funny because there is this one person that I talked to Jamie's wife about, Janessa, and I'm always just like, what? I mean, I love her, but like, what is her social media? I don't understand it whatsoever because it's like one day promoting fitness, and then the next day she's promoting the next day she's talking about mental health, and then the next day she's talking about Toastmasters, and then the next, and it doesn't mean that you can't be talking about those things, but those things and how they relate to what you're trying to accomplish. So, for instance, Yolanda, like doing the gym and the health stuff. Well, the gym and the health stuff is going to help you perform in real estate. Saw a Facebook post today. It was talking about like what an athlete looks like and how much training they do and how much performing they do. They do way more training than performing, whereas like tend to do way more performing than training, and it should be the opposite. And so you thought that was interesting because she's real estate, but that like she's like a real estate professional, I need to be, health and fitness because that's going to help me perform in my real estate. So it's like, how are the other things trickling down into the one main thing that you're doing? So like, of course, like I post about my family, that's who I am. right? I post about going to the gym. That's what I do. But mostly I post about real estate and about how you can get involved in real estate and how, things that I'm giving away and the things that I'm teaching and all of that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not here and there. Like I might even say, like, hey, it's Christmas time. Here's a nonprofit organization that's very near and dear to my heart. If you're interested, but it's not something I'm posting every single week, right? Like I'm consistently posting is the real estate stuff. And then what I'm posting all around it for my viewers, like stories, are a part of who I am because people want to know who you are outside of what you do. And all of those things connect to it. But you don't want to like your audience. So, like, you're going to go out and you're going to sell Shakely, like, awesome. You don't have to do real estate by all means, just post about Shakely and how everything you do around you is, and kind of like Janessa, you have their adventure market that they do their branding, and you can go follow them. You should post it in here, Jamie. You guys can go look at it. It's called We Are the Marcos. They're not posting about real estate and We Are the Marcos. They're posting for their brands, right? In their adventure market because they homeschool their kids and they go on all these like ventures and they promote all these products for camping. And then she also started a diving business. So she opened an Instagram where she's just talking about diving. So she doesn't talk about diving all that much on We Are the Marcos, but she talks about diving all the time on her diving Instagram, right? So, that you have to go and start 50 Instagrams. I have one, I don't have a bunch, right? Like my goal isn't about branding. It's just about branding multiple businesses. It's about branding me. If you're going to branding multiple businesses, then yes, you probably want to open other Instagrams so it doesn't get too confusing. Is that right, Jamie?
Absolutely. Real quick, you have a question, so I didn't want to skip that up, but
Oh,
Can you
hey
guys hear
girl, what's up? Good to
hey,
see you.
How are you? Hi, happy Monday, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So, just leave right now. We are on the road going to the meetup in Savannah. My sister and I. Say hi, She.
nice.
First of all, we just wanted to say, yeah, we were in your neck of the woods. Just left Jacksonville for Savannah. And I was so hoping to meet you, some of you, and especially April there. I know for a fact. I may add something. I heard April say some people like you see so you on an Instagram account, you're that like this person is fake. And I'm the same, but like our people, like myself, for the longest time, I have had the problem of posting on anywhere because of cyber things, like cyber security. And Mark Zuckerberg selling out your information and all the things. That has really held me back for a long time. But I was the same with like Google Calendar. I gave into that like years ago. I was like, oh my God, this is getting so overwhelming. I cannot keep up with everything. And I really honestly had this what do you the hardcover calendar, poly calendar, agenda book, and I used to write down every single thing. And it got out of hand. And I was like, I cannot do this. This is not sustainable, and I cannot scale myself. So I gave up on that. I was like, okay, you know what? We're in this era. You just have to live. I don't know. This is the way. So now, at a place where with you guys, and of course, seeing Pace and how he is very,
You just have to do it. You can not stop yourself. And just wanted to share that with many of you if you ever have felt that way. That was certainly me. So
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
yes, thank you guys for the sessions that you put for us.
Yes, thanks for coming on.
Awesome.
Have
Guys,
fun going to see Pace.
we'll have fun. We'll take pictures and maybe I'll post, huh?
Yo, dude, definitely have to post. Sweet. All right, guys. Well, it's 4:30, so we're gonna end the call now. Thank you so much, Jamie, for coming on and sharing with us, and for everybody
Perfect.
coming on every week. We will be back here again next Monday, more about lead generation. So I hope to see you guys there. Bye bye.
Cool.
Thank you, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.